So one of the other lessons that I think is really insightful for us to gain from this little segment of the story is the reality that there are a variety of ways that people can learn and grow. Many, many years ago, Elder Neil A. Maxwell, he, in one of his talks speaking to seminary and institute teachers and CES employees, he shared this idea, and he called it the 4 E's of learning. He said, we traditionally learn one of 4 ways, and they all start with E in this context. He says, we can learn by exhortation, where somebody exhorts us to do something. He said, we can learn by explanation. And Elder Maxwell mentioned that in the church, in traditional classroom settings and church settings, we do a lot of these two, explaining and exhorting. But then he said, we could use a little more of this 3rd E, where we teach by example, where people can learn from observation and watching both non and positive examples of what a principle looks like. It's pretty powerful. But then he came to the 4th E of learning, and he said, this is the one that we need a lot more of. Allowing people to learn from their own experience. So to me, this little interchange between Moses and Jethro is a great example of, you have an individual, Moses, who has been clearly called of God. He's very wise. He's connected with heaven, inspiration-wise. He can judge very clearly, it seems, in most of these situations and handle all the problems that Israel can throw at his feet. The reality is there are many people in the tribes of Israel who could also grow and develop and become more connected with heaven and rely more on the revelation that comes and gain additional capacities, become a sharper instrument in the Lord's hand if they were just given the opportunity to experience certain aspects of the gospel. And so Jethro is basically saying, let's not have all of the children of Israel have to funnel through one person. Let's divide this opportunity out and give other people the opportunity to learn from experience. And if you stop and think about it, this goes both ways, meaning Moses was the one who was doing all of the praying and the pondering and the listening. And now you're going to get a whole bunch of people who are given the opportunity to do that connecting, as well as more of the children of Israel will be able to get their questions and their concerns resolved because we're not bottlenecked by one person. And in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints today, don't you find it a beautiful pattern that we're following this? We don't go to the prophet's office with every question, nor do we go to the Quorum of the 12 with every question, nor do we go to our stake president or our district president with every question. We go to Relief Society leaders and Elders Quorum leaders and bishoprics and stake presidencies and area presidencies and the 70 and the 12 and the first presidency and ultimately the prophet. It's this beautiful setup where thousands and tens of thousands and even hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, are given the opportunity to learn from their experience as they counsel with people who are having struggles, because now they have to do what Moses was doing exclusively. They get this opportunity to learn from their own experience in the process. And it's not just the leader who's learning from that experience. It's the individual. There's this joint effort to seek God's will And I think it's beautiful as it comes off the page here to us to remember that it's not just about doing the right thing as perfectly as possible in the church. It's about growth. It's about gaining new skills and new abilities and becoming a sharper instrument in the hands of the Lord, which takes time and opportunities to experience the gospel, not just hear about it and be invited to do it and get people's explanations of it and see their examples. It's to experience it. So in our teaching, what a beautiful pattern if we use these 3 E's to invite and encourage and motivate people to then go and do something about what they've learned and to connect with heaven in a very personal way moving forward.